why choose this topic, realignment to the present? Well, because we spend so much of our time out of it, right? We spend a lot of time in the future, in the past, and a lot of this time we're not even aware that our mind has gone off into these different places. And so this really is what mindfulness is about. It's about this awareness. And as Alice had said, this is one of the foundations to self-compassion, is to start cultivating awareness, to start to understand what it is that you're feeling in any particular point in time, and to be open and accepting to how you're feeling, to not be in avoidance or denial about what's happening, and seeing if you can really be accepting and to notice, oh, this is whatever I'm feeling right now. It's an emotion, and it comes up viscerally in my body in a particular way. And through mindfulness practice, we start to see this more and more readily. It becomes more available to us to be able to understand our moment-to-moment experience. So the real concept that I thought would be useful to go through tonight is the concept of meta-awareness. Meta-awareness is awareness of awareness. And I know maybe it sounds kind of like a complicated concept. I think the best way to really describe it is, I think all of us have had this time where you're reading a book and you read a few paragraphs down, and at some moment you come to the realization that I don't remember what I've been reading. Like maybe about 2 paragraphs ago, I stopped paying attention. And then you go back and you find the place where you were, and you get caught up and you go, okay, here's where I am, and we get going. And so that moment that you notice that you are no longer paying attention, that you hadn't been paying attention, this is the moment of meta attention, where we recognize where our attention is. And so the challenge that I have tonight is for you to, through our practice, answer this question: is meta attention the only moment that I truly have choice? Is the moment of meta attention the only moment where I truly have choice? And so, and it will be an interesting experience. The meditation process, and I think where a lot of people get caught up with a myth of meditation, and mindfulness meditation in particular, is that you need to remain concentrated. That if you aren't concentrated, you aren't meditating. And so this really is the myth, that you will find that no matter how hard you try, your concentration won't stay where you hope it is going to stay. And so, starting to be open to the fact that you don't have as much control over your mind as you think you have. So the meditation process goes like this. We focus on the object, whatever object we're choosing. A lot of times it's focusing on breath. We focus on the object for a period of time, and then our mind gets distracted. Our mind starts thinking about something, and often it's something related to the future. It's something related to the past. It's something that's not here now, but is important to us. Otherwise, it wouldn't have caught our attention. But I think the important thing to know here is that your intention, at least, if you're meditating, your intention isn't to sit here and to work out all of your problems. Your intention is to stay focused on that object, at least in this period of time. So focus on the breath. And then we go, oh, what happened? Why am I no longer focusing on my breath? And that moment, this is the moment where we can choose, okay, I'm thinking about my retirement. When am I going to be able to retire? Why is that on my mind right now? It doesn't matter. We may even want to follow that, figure out what's causing that, what's making me think about my retirement right now. So as best we can, the moment that we notice that we've wandered away, that we've lost our focus, that we've lost, whatever the main intention of the practice is, this is the moment of meta attention, where you finally have this choice. I am not focused any longer. Now that I know that I'm not focused, let me bring my focus back. And so what's so useful about meta attention? Well, our minds are often doing things that aren't very productive. Take anxiety, for example. Anxiety is this habitual moving into the future, constantly thinking about a particular fear and not really making any progress. I think one of the things that makes us think more is that we think that if we think about something a lot, we'll come to some resolution about it. And in a case for like anxiety, that doesn't really do it. In fact, it fuels the fire and makes it stronger. So what we can do in these moments is realize that we don't have control over our minds. And so being mindful, again, not about avoidance or denial, as Vlada had said earlier. It's, when we're meditating, we set that time aside. We say, this is the time to do my practice, and I'm going to do the practice. Maybe I get the most eureka moment. Maybe I cure cancer while I'm sitting and meditating. Have the discipline to stay with your meditation until the end. And whatever brilliant ideas come up, whatever email you forgot to send, you'll have time for that later. Spend these moments that you choose to sit in meditation. Spend these moments in the moment. Spend these moments being alive, like relishing being alive. And I suppose that's maybe a different topic, a different talk. But today, really, the question is, as you're observing yourself, as you're following my guidance, paying attention to whatever I'm asking you to pay attention to, your mind will wander away. In those moments, that's the time you have to bring the mind back. And also, self-compassion exists in this practice too. So as your mind wanders away, remember, it's natural, it's normal, it's going to happen. Be okay with it. Or maybe better put, see if you can be okay with it. It can be hard to be okay with it if you have a habit of harshness towards yourself. And so this is the test tube. This is the petri dish. This is the science experiment of your life. This is the mindfulness meditation practice. So we'll go ahead and get into some practice. And so see what happens as we go through this basic practice today. Because I know we've all been sitting around, let's do a little bit of movement practice. And I think and you can still do it sitting. You don't need to get up and move around like that. But just to mindfulness is nothing more than paying attention to what's happening. So we'll move our body a little bit, and all you need to do during those times is pay attention to the body part that I'm asking you to pay attention to, and notice in moments as the sensations are changing. So let's just spend a moment to sit comfortably. And I would ask you to sit. I find, especially at this time of night, as we're getting a bit sleepy, might be more useful to sit up straight to bring some alertness. If you like, you can close your eyes. And we'll just start by feeling what it's like to be sitting here right now. So whatever you're sitting on, your chair, your cushion, noticing where your chair is touching your body, noticing where your cushion is touching you. And so your cushion is probably touching your buttocks somewhere, and it's not covering the entire surface. There are some areas that are touching, some areas are not. So be aware of that. Notice. Notice the texture of your clothing. Notice the range in pressure. Some areas the pressure's higher, some areas the pressure's tapering off, and then eventually out in the extremities of this region, you'll find that you're not being touched at all, except maybe by your clothing. That pressure is no longer there. So examining looking with the magnifying glass of your full attention. And then releasing attention away from the pressure on your buttocks. And I'll invite you to bring your left hand up from wherever it is. And you can have your eyes open or closed and just stretch your left arm up towards the ceiling. Or maybe imagine that there's a piece of fruit that's just out of reach. You're looking up, you're trying to grab it, stretch out, see if you can get that piece of fruit that's there. And continue stretching and play with that limit if you like. And as we do this part of the practice, know that you can stop at any time, that this is a practice for you. So if you ever get uncomfortable, you ever want to cease, you ever feel signals from your body that are telling you to stop, please discontinue. And in the meantime, what's happening here? Do you feel the stretch in the left side of the body? How about your fingertips? What's changing here over time? Do you feel the tension of your muscles changing? Are you relaxing? Is suddenly that piece of fruit seeming more in sight or more within reach? If not, remembering, stretching out. So seeing over time, maybe your effort changes. Maybe the state of your mind about this posture is changing. Sensations in the shoulder may become intense. You may feel burning or pinching, numbness or tingling. And so now on your next exhale, slowly, slowly to the side of your body, bringing that arm back down. And noticing the sensations as they change as you reach about the level of the heart. And then down lower. And then when your hand finally reaches your lap. Maybe noticing the sense of relief and release. Changing sensations in the fingertips, in the shoulder. And what about your breath? Maybe the pace of your breath has changed. Maybe you're beginning to perspire. So seeing how something so simple can already begin to have an effect on the body. And so now when you're ready, on the next inhalation, doing the same with the right arm. So bringing the right arm up, stretching out, grabbing for that piece of imaginary fruit. And then feeling into the right side of the body, the stretch. And noticing what's going on with the rest of the body. Is your face involved? Do you find your face tensing? Knowing that your face is not actually involved in reaching your arm, and so that your face can be completely relaxed. Your left shoulder can be completely relaxed. So knowing what needs to be involved in this motion, what does not need to be involved. And then feeling those changes. What's going on in the fingertips? What's going on in the forearm? How about the upper arm? The right shoulder? The right side body? Is it still stretched out, or have you begun to relax? What about your attitude toward yourself? Are you feeling any thoughts, any emotions about how things are going? Do you feel some assessment or hear some self-assessment going on? And so now on your next exhale, slowly, slowly bringing that arm back down to the side of the body and feeling moment by moment the changes and sensations. And that as that arm reaches your lap or reaches its resting point where your muscles are no longer holding up the weight of your arm, feeling the relief. And maybe beginning to notice your breath. Again, this simple movement may have caused the pace of the breath to change, the depth of the breath to change. So, for the purpose of this practice, we do not need to take control of the breath in any way. Simply allow the breath to be as it is. Your body's been breathing for an awfully long time. And it's been doing so most of the time without your intervention, without your instruction. Your body just goes ahead and breathes. Whatever you're thinking about doesn't matter. Your body continues to breathe, whether you're sleeping or eating. You keep breathing. So in this time, in this moment, trusting your body to continue breathing. And for you, all you're doing is watching, listening, observing. Feeling the sensations in the body as the breath moves in and out. Expansion of the rib cage, of the chest. Expansion of the abdomen. The release as we breathe out. So again, no need to follow my pace. Trusting in the body, just observing, feeling. Expansion on the inhale. Release and contraction on the exhale. So are you still there following those physical sensations, or has your mind wandered? Are you thinking about something else? If your mind wandered, remember that's okay. Just remembering this intention to stay focused on the object. And right now, all we're focusing on is that feeling of breathing in and out, in and out. Aware of the sensations of our bodies in this moment. And so as we continue sitting, sometimes we'll find also that we get a bit sleepy. And so each time we notice that our mind has wandered, coming back to the posture, are we still sitting just like we were when we started, straight and tall, with purpose, with resolve, being awake and alive, even here after 8 p.m., breathing and smiling. And so as I breathe in, I am fully aware of my inhalation. As I breathe out, I am fully aware of my exhalation. Seeing this cycle as it continues, this miracle of being alive, doing this thing that all living things do, exchanging gases with our external environment. This beautiful thing that we share with all living things on our planet. This miracle of life. And so perhaps paying attention at the belly, at the chest is challenging for you. Noticing that also your breath is available to you at your nostrils. Can you feel the breath moving in and out at the nostrils as well? Maybe you feel your entire body breathing. So riding for a few more moments on the waves of our breath. And then whenever you're ready, if your eyes were closed, slowly opening your eyes once again. You can feel free to wiggle your fingers and toes, to move your body around in any way you like as we transition out of this period of practice. So thank you everybody for joining in this mindfulness practice. And, I guess in closing, I just want to say that the more we practice doing this, the easier it's going to be to make it a default, right? Maybe your default is to go to the anxious thoughts, to be worried, to have anxiety. If you can, in these moments, remember, oh, wait a minute, that anxious thing, that thing I'm worried about isn't happening right now. I can focus on something that's happening right now, and my breath is happening right now.